Okay, so we are live now. Yeah, I've seen you and I've added you back. All right, so just a second so we can start. I'm sorry you cannot see me. I'm trying to bring my lights, but we can just proceed. So welcome everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning. Depending on where you're joining us from, it's nice to have you guys here. I believe you can all hear me. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. Thank you. Um, okay, we just have a few people on the call, and we are going to just proceed. I believe others will join us soon. Others will join us soon. I just want to just a second. Just a second. Let's see if right. So okay, so we can only add 6 people on the call, and we have 6 people. So I think we can proceed with our presenter. So see what we are going to do. Shinedu, can you hear me? Hi, Shinedu Uzore.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so I need you to you presenting 10 case studies. So I will need you to log out of the call. Okay, just watch the live from your normal YouTube. So when it's time for the case study 3, then you can join the call. Is that okay? So that the people that will join in presenting their case study 1, yeah, case study 1 will be able to join the call. Is that okay?
All right, that's fine.
All right, thank you. Um, So welcome everyone. Nice to have you guys here, and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're joining us. Okay, so I don't know, we have little blackouts now, and I'm trying to, you guys have to exercise some patience with me so that we get everything sorted out. But we can proceed as well. We don't need to wait for the light. We can just proceed. Okay. Right, so this is some analytics. I don't know if any other person is so excited for today, but I am so excited for today because yeah, this interns, they've been working on their case study since 4 weeks now, right? So they started with the first case study and they submitted, and we gave them the live feedback, the case study 2, the case study from 3, right? So we have amazing people that started this internship with us. We had about 184 individuals that started this internship program. Please, can you hear me? Please, can you hear me? I don't know why the network is bad today, but can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. I think the network is terribly bad this afternoon, but that's fine. We can proceed. Okay, so while we waiting for others to, it's not connected. Okay. Just a second. Nasifat, can you hear me? Nasifat. Hi, Nasifat, can you hear me? I need you to unmute and so that you can speak.
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Which of the network case study are you presenting?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Of the case study are you presenting?
Okay, so case study 2.
Okay, case study 2.
Yes.
Right. So we want others praise Odosa. Which of the case study are you presenting?
I'm presenting the first case study one.
Okay, that's fine. So that those that are not presenting one can leave the call and join later. Okay, so Yasifat, Nasifat, I would like you to drop out of the call so that those that are presenting the first case study can just join first. All right, you can just watch us live using your normal YouTube. Right, is that okay? Okay, so this is case Amda Analytics, and we all are welcome to this live section, right? You are all welcome. We really appreciate you guys, especially our guests. We really appreciate you. Hi, Kavita. Kavita. Did I get that right?
Yes, yes, it's correct.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us. You're going to introduce yourself, but let me just do a quick introduction of you. All right, Kavita is joining us from the other part of the world. So she's an amazing person, a data professional who has wealth of experience, who will be here, she's not here to judge anybody, to tell you that, oh, you did not do it, but she's here to correct you, find out, oh, these are what you ought to have done to to bring out life from your data set, right? So this is what she'll be helping us to to do today. And we have Ayade. Ayade is another data professional again, who is an analytics engineer, a very powerful guy from this part of the world. Yeah, I mean from Nigeria. So Ayade is joining us from Nigeria. I don't know the part of Nigeria, but he is joining us from Nigeria. Nice to have you here, Ayade. We really appreciate you. Thanks for honoring our invitation. And I have my boss here, Gift Warita. Gift Warita is my boss. When I mean my boss. Thank you for joining us, and I don't know, it's your first time back with another airtech company. So nice to have you here, Gift Warita. He is a senior associate at Flutterwave. Nice to have you here. We really appreciate you. Thanks for honoring our invitation. All right. That does it for our introduction, for our judges. Okay, these guys are amazing people. So we have just few minutes for our presenter. So the game is like this. Our presenters is going to present for 5 good minutes, right? 5 good minutes. Please pay attention for the instructions and Oh, why is this network so bad today? Why today? Okay, so let's just go straight to the point. So let's have our first presenter. Praise Odosai there. Hi, Praise. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Please, I would like you to share your screen so that we can proceed. Okay, I don't know why my network is misbehaving today. Just share your screen and let's proceed.
Okay.
So you have 5 minutes, right? So you have 5 minutes. Just go through the case study. Tell us all that you have gotten, right? The ideas, the
All right.
insights. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is President Seragi, and I am very happy and glad to be here sharing what I've learned over the past 4 weeks. So, this is the first case study for our internship, and it was on the Bank of America customer complaints between the year 2017 and the year 2003. Now, for this particular analysis, we had three expected outcome, and the three expected outcome were we had to uncover trends. See the data between 2017 and 2023. Looking into the data, what can we see occurring between those years? We have to uncover those trends and like visualize it also, which I hope everyone can see my screen. We can like have a view of it currently. And another thing we have to do was to evaluate the effectiveness of response from the bank. We all have an account with a bank, and once in a while we might have an issue that we want um, to be handled properly by the bank. Most times, communication plays a great part in this, and how was our bank able to like respond to us? Like that's another of the expected outcome. And the last but not least was we were to identify recurring issues. There might be some issues that have occurred more than once, twice, three times, multiple number of times. We have to show what these issues were. Now, I'm going to be basing my presentation on this theory outcome so as not to waste time or to do any other thing extra. So the very first one was uncovering trends. And for the trend analysis, I just had to do the complaint submission for the um, complaint. Now, I use Tableau for building the visuals and the dashboard also. And if you can see the line chart over here, this line chart is a sum of all complaints, both from 2017 to 2023. That's why we can see the years under. I can filter my line charts if, for example, I'm trying to show for just 1 year. I'm trying to show for the previous years. We are currently 2024. I'm trying to show for 2023 how the complete trend over time was. I can just unclick it and it's still loading up and click on the year 2023 to get the trend for that time. The filter affects everything on the charts, not only the line chart, it affects every other visual also. So while this is loading up, yes, so we can see the complaint over for the year 2023, and it also highlighted the month with the highest. It highlighted the highest number and also the lowest number, showing us that the month of July we had 1,749 complaints, which was the highest for that year. And August we had 717 complaints. I'm just going to come back here and just put it back in all so we can have a clear view of everything. So this was one of the trends we were covered. This is just one of many, but for the purpose of time management, we'll just be moving on. Now, the other outcome was evaluating response effectiveness. Evaluating response effectiveness. How well did the bank respond to this complaint? Customer complain over the time for different issues. How well did the bank respond to this complaint, and how well did the customer perceive this response? So if we scroll down here, we can see a row with the name. I just give it responses, trying to show the effectiveness of responses. Now, timely response, timely response for yes. People who, if a survey went out and asked if the bank responded to the customer complaint in a timely manner or early per se, it was more. That's like 58,619. We also had no. Those replied no. I also have those that was not recorded. Now, the company also responded publicly, which was a complete public response. And when you look at this chart, you can see that you can actually get the what each of the bar is talking about. I can over my cursor here and you can get everything. The company has responded to the consumer and the CFPB and choose not to provide the public response of 60,311 times. You can scroll on to the others to get the name of the chart of the bar because it's very long. It don't fit in. So as not to alter anything, there was no
Hi,
need to
hi,
change it,
Praise.
but you can just
You have
yeah, I can hear you.
hi, Praise. This is 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Just go straight into
Okay,
the
sorry.
point. That's all we want here. Tell us your insight, your discoveries.
Okay.
What are your recommendations? I
Okay.
think your five
Then
minutes has a lot.
recommendation.
5 minutes. All right, yeah. Go straight to the recommendation. Tell us your recommendations.
Okay, my recommendations based on the complaint drivers and also the response. One of the recommendations I would recommended was these top 5 complaint drivers. There should be like another part of the bank that should look into this because if we keep on getting this particular type of complaint all the time. There should be an underlying issue somewhere, like a dedicated part of the bank that goes to like attends to all of these issues. Like, why are we having issues with managing an account severally? Maybe there might be an underlying issue. You can go through there and like check it. Another one is the bank can also be more responsive to the consumers. Like if you are doing something, if I have an issue, and if I have an issue from my bank and the bank has not responded in time, there should be like a reason to why that has not happened. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that praise. So we can just take one. Who is doing first? Want to say something about his presentation so that we can proceed to another person. Hi, Ayode, it's like you want to say something. Hello, Ayode, can you hear me? Okay, we cannot hear you if you're talking. Hi, Kavivat. Kavita, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, please.
I think he's audible now. Yeah.
Okay. Please go ahead, Ayode.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Let me remove this. So, amazing presentation. Is that Bidemi, right? Or is it, yeah, Bidemi?
That's
So,
praise. Yeah.
fun is praise. Okay. So, I'm a taboo person, right? And can you scroll to the top? I just want to comment on structures and all of that, and what you have there basically. The first thing that you want to do when you are dishing out your work and all of that is to make it easy for anybody that is looking at to understand what you are presenting, right? First, you have a structure, but not really structure, right? Um, I'm seeing complaint trend over time that is centralized title. Then I have something to the left hand side of your title or to the right hand side of your title that is just giving me things, right? You can pass that information through to, right? You put an icon there, maybe an information icon, and when I mouse over that icon, I get this information that you have there, right? You have a good data set. I recently stumbled upon this data set, customer complaints, and it's really rich, right? But what you are trying to present, you are trying to sell us so many things at the same time, right? You do not I don't know about building your dashboard, right? But it shows that you didn't put so much work into the organization, right? Method of complaint should not be sitting on your map, right? If you want to have method of complaint, and I'm thinking you use floating for your dashboard, right? Praise. Can you unmute yourself and answer my question? You use floating for building your dashboard.
Yeah, I said what I can hear you.
You use floating for building your dashboard, or is it
Yes.
out? Because it's glaring that
No.
your elements, yeah, it's glaring that your elements are not aligned at all, right? And this is one of the things that you get with floating. You feel like, oh, you've done a perfect job in your tool. Then when you publish, you see something else, right? So try to use styling for your work, right? Your filter should not be sitting on the charts, right? Then your chart has a white background, your text, your background, your entire chart background color is matching that of the year value that you have there, right? You want to look into all of those things and just, presentation is what matters actually. You have good insight that you are showing to us, but the way you are presenting it to us is not palatable, right? Well done. That's my submission. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Ayade. Okay, let's take Kavita for 2 minutes. If you don't want to say anything, we can just proceed because we have a lot of presenters.
I
Uh,
don't know if I can say something after her, just a short one. Though.
Okay,
okay.
that's good.
Yes, so a quick feedback on this. So great work, praise. I think it is overall a very good report. I'll split my feedback in three sections. One, what you have done good in this report. So some things I like is the way you're presenting your title, consistent color, the new chart types you are using like maps, and with maps you have added a column chart that gives a presentation of legend. So all that is good. The only feedback I have in this report that you can work on is the first thing is alignment. You can look into different visual hierarchy, basically how you can improve your alignment. And second, if can you scroll down slightly bit on the bottom section of your report?
All right, thank you
Uh,
very much. Yeah,
okay.
Priska. Yeah, thank you very
No, no.
much. Okay, are you through?
Yes, yes, I think he's scrolling. So on this, one another feedback is the part we have in top five complaints: issue, sub issue, product, and sub product. And a better visual you can use here is a tree map, because these are hierarchical information like product, sub product, issue, sub issue. So a better visual at this place would be a hierarchical visual. So that is the only other feedback I have. Just it's all good. Gift, you
Okay,
can go next.
okay, thank you very much for that, Kavivat. Okay, Gift, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, just a minute, so that we can move to the another
Okay,
person.
so a very good work, but I just have an issue, and maybe this is because of my perception of what visualization should be, and maybe my experience. So, if, praise or anyone looking watching us should understand that your visualization is actually your ambassador that tells story even when you're not there. Not every time you have the opportunity to present, and even when you have the opportunity to present in reality to business management to top executive, you might not even have up to that 5 minutes. You may have just a minute or 2 minutes. So you must ensure that the KPIs you're trying to tell us, those insights, especially having them bulleted in KPI formats, is staring at me. When I just look at the dashboard, I should be able to see what you are trying to tell me, even without you talking. I think I saw that missing, you know, basically. So I think it's something you could improve on. Maybe just tell us the rate of response rates and so on. But overall, you did well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for this. I believe this has been taken note of. Praise, you have taken note of this. All right. Thank you very much, Praise, for taking out to do time to do this. You can please stop sharing so that we can have another person. Hi, Bidemi. Bidemi, are you there? Hi, Bidemi. Can you hear me? All right. Adenike Ogulenya, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, please go ahead, share your screen and present your case study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please confirm you can see my screen.
Okay. I want to add your screen now. Yes, I can see it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Adenike Ogunleye, and I'll be making a presentation on Bank of America customer complaint analysis. Um, this is my homepage, and I'll move to the next page. So since I have limited time, I'm just going to be really fast about it. So total complaints, I have about 62.5k total complaints. Timely response, I have 58.62 timely response. Average lead time, I have 1.2 average lead time, and closed complaints, I have 61.02 closed complaints, and in progress with just about 1.49k in progress response. What this means is that the Bank of America were able to attend to their customer complaints in on an average of 1 to 2. So, and here I'll just proceed to what I have here. I don't know if you can see my screen enough, or I should zoom out.
It's
Okay,
clear.
so I have my, it's clear, right? I have my year on year growth. How did I get this? I was able to write some DAX, which I got my year on year growth. Then I have the total complaints. For my total complaints, out of for the total complaints, I have closed complaints with about 99.30% closed complaints on and the product is mortgage. So then I'll move to the next page. So for the complaints by issue group, I have, okay. So the thing is, I cleaned the data and I did grouping because the complaints were kind of lengthy and I had to group them into categories. So I have complaints by issue groups, which account management stopped the complaint by issue groups. I have another one which is total complaint by customer, by company response to consumer, and we have closed with explanation topping that category. I have another one here, complaints by response, and response responded privately tops the chat here. So I'll move to the next page. So for the next page here, I have California. This is where I have my state and my sorry, I'm trying to zoom in a bit. So this is where I have my states, complaint matrix by state and product issues, with California topping the list. Then average lead time is, like I said earlier, the average lead time is 1 to 2 average lead time. Then I have states with the most unresolved complaint, which is California, and you can see here it is California as well. Then moving on, I'll go to my insight. So for my insight, I have complaint volume of 62,500 complaints with year-over-year growth of 28.15%. So this spike highlights the importance of proactively managing consumer interactions and service quality. Timely response with about 91.77% of complaints received a timely response, meaning that they did well in responding to their customers. Though there might be improvement, but they did really well. So dealing time is 1 to 2 days on average. Then closure rate, 97.61% of complaints closed successfully. Then monthly trends have July as the highest monthly complaint volume, suggesting possible seasonal or operational fluctuations to address. Then have account management and credit identity issues, where the top complaint categories by where the top complaint categories. So by improving process and transparency in these areas, business can significantly reduce complaint volumes and enhance consumer loyalty. So this is actually a short insight, and you can go to my Medium and read more about the article with this button that I activated. So it is signifying that, okay, I need to go to my browser, which is where my Medium link is, and have the full article and recommendations documented there. And I'll be reading out the documentations because I have the recommendations to each insight. That's the one I just showed now, is a brief insight. I have each insights to each chat, and this is what I have here. So I'll just go on to the recommendation, since I've read a brief about the um insight. So for the recommendations, consumer complaint analysis can serve as a gold mine for improving service quality, refining products, and enhancing consumer satisfaction. Here's how business can leverage consumer and customer feedback to their advantage. Understand the bigger picture, that is the surge in complaints year over year, especially in areas like account management. Like earlier on, when I when I explain the account management, it stops the total complaints, overall complaints from that category. So areas like account management and credit and identity issues should not be seen merely as a burden, but as a unique opportunity for growth. Then moving on, I'll proceed to timely and response matter, with 91.77% of complaints receiving timely responses. There's a strong foundation for customer satisfaction here because 99.77 is a lot, but achieving 100% can significantly enhance customer trust. Analyzing the reasons behind the remaining 8.23% can uncover potential bottlenecks and resource gaps. Moving on, root cause analysis. Complaints related to account management, payments, and fees should.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adenike. That's wonderful presentation. Let's take our judges, just one person or two persons. Please, 2 minutes so that we can proceed to another presenter.
Okay, well done, Adenike.
Thank you.
Nice presentation. So I don't know. I basically want to ask you some question because customer analysis in terms of complaints is something that I hold so passionate about, and I want to see if I can learn one or two things from your insight here. Uh, First and foremost, when you talked about response, of over 91 point, yeah, over 91%. Are you saying that since they gave them a timely response to that percent, they actually resolved? Because there's a difference between resolving a ticket and actually responding, on time. I don't know if you want to say
Yeah,
something about.
responding a time on time is a timely response with 91.77%.
Does that mean the ticket was resolved? Because there are two different.
Yes, yes, resolved and responded to. Because I had yes for those columns.
Okay. Okay. So do you think you can do more than what you've done so far? Like, if you had time, what else would you love to have done? Because there's something I think you could also do, but I just want to hear from you.
Okay, this is what I was able to gather. Probably if I had more time, I would have been able to derive more insights than this.
Like,
But for now, this is what I was
so
able to
more,
gather.
okay, so more insight like what? Sorry, I'm not taking it personal with you, but
No,
interested.
no, 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 no. It's okay. I don't. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, but
Okay,
with
so
that
let
short
me help
period of
you.
time, this is what I was. So I couldn't really look deep into the data.
Okay, awesome. So let me help you with something. So there's what we call a customer sentiment analysis.
Okay.
It's an analysis that helps you to understand, most times the emotion, of customers around your products. Because sometimes a customer may make a complaint, but
Okay.
not necessarily like it's not really happy. Sometimes complaint could be a means of customer trying to support a company or a business so that they can do better. Some other times, a complaint could also mean they are just sick and tired of your product. And one of the best way to be able to identify that, because that is what matters when you talk about customer journey, customer experience. It's all about how customer feel at every point, every touch point of your business or product. So doing a sentiment analysis helps you to be able to measure that emotion to know whether it's positive or negative. So it's something you could also probably by the side later try to understand the emotions around the
All right.
complaints.
Thanks for that feedback. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very
I
much.
think
Yeah, please go ahead, Capita.
okay. Yeah, I so some of the feedback I have in this report, first, nice navigation. The way you have presented is good. One overall feedback I would give you is this report. There are two kinds of analysis we do. One is exploratory and one is explanatory. So right now in the dashboard, what we have is a exploratory analysis. That means you have all the data, and then someone has to crunch it to get the final recommendation or insights you have, that you actually have converted into the written documentation, that you have presented with us. But a good practice, or something you can think or consider doing to improve your report is, for your end user, always create an explanatory report. So whatever your recommendation you have in writing, use visualization to highlight them more, or bring more emphasis. So that is something you can work on, and that will overall improve the report, because when someone see your visual, they will get to know, okay, what we are trying to talk, or what is the messaging. So yeah,
All right.
that is my
Thank you.
feedback.
Thank you for that
All right.
feedback.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's wonderful feedback. I believe you are taking note of that, Adenike. And thanks very
Yeah.
much for doing this. So we are going to take another present. You can drop. Bidemi, are you there?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Bidemi, are you there? If you're not there, I'm going to remove you from the call so we can add another person. Okay, so I'm going to remove you. To be very honest, right? Um. Hi, Idara Favor. Favor, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Please share your screen.
All right. All right. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes.
All right. All right. So good evening or good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ida Bongudofia, and I'll be making a presentation on my analysis of the Bank of America complaints, customer complaints. So the total complaints recorded in total were, excuse me, over 6,000 complaints were, and the trend has been the highest complaints were recorded in 2022. So let's look at the 2022 quickly. Let's look at 2022. Okay, month. So the highest complaints were recorded in August, and the lowest were recorded in June, but there was an increase from June till December. So we need to look into why that occurred. We'll need to look into that. Then my report is divided into 3 pages. We have overview, products,
Hello, can you guys hear her?
I guess her network.
Okay.
Her network. Um, okay, so I think we are going to add another presenter now. So maybe when she sort out the network issue, she can join us back. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna just add this person. Nasifat, can you hear me? Hi, Nasifat, can you hear me? So you need to unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon. Um,
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Yes, I can hear you.
okay, just a second. I want to look for your file and if I'll just help you to share that. Just a second. I know you sent something to me. I don't know if I've downloaded it. I want to look for where I have it. Just a second. Let me get your this thing. Okay. So, so confirm you can see my screen. Nasifat, can you see my screen? Hi, Nasifat, can you hear me? Please, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
we can
you.
hear you.
So what's wrong
Nasifat, are you
with
there? So I guess it's the network.
this? To add her back.
Okay, she's
So
back in.
Nasifat, can you see my screen, Nasifat?
No, we can't
Yes,
see your screen.
it's not showing.
Oh, I've stopped sharing.
All right, so just hold on. I'm going to share mine.
Okay.
Okay, just a minute. All right, please, can you add my screen to the stage?
Okay, yeah. All right, thanks. Nasifat, can you hear us?
Yes, I can see. Thank you.
Please, yeah, please, let's go 5 minutes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My
Yeah.
name is Nafisa Jayola. So I'll be presenting my analysis on the impact of food prices on health in Pakistan. This case study explores how economic constraint and food price fluctuations affect the accessibility to healthy diet and nutrition. In this case study, I was provided with data sets, but after going through the data and the objectives, I realized that the provided data may not cover all necessary aspects for the analysis. So I sourced for more supplementary data to support my analysis. In this case study, I focused my analysis on Pakistan and compared it with two neighboring countries, which are Sri Lanka and Myanmar. So on the left side of my chart, um, I analyzed for daily cost of healthy diet. So, and in the chart, we can see that Pakistan has the lowest daily cost for a healthy diet among the compared countries. But despite that, if you check the next slide, the next chart beside it, we realize that 81% population of Pakistan cannot afford a healthy diet. So this is significantly higher than other neighboring countries, Myanmar and Sri Lanka. So this implies that unaffordability of the healthy diet in Pakistan is due to other factors like economic constraints, which are unemployment, food insecurity, and food price anomalies. But all these are not mere assumptions because I have them in my analysis. So in my analysis, for the price anomalies, that is the one in the table chart. So I compared my food price anomalies with my undernourishment. So there is a clear correlation between food price anomalies and undernourishment. Pakistan has the highest undernourishment rate, also, and the highest food price anomalies, as you can see in the chart. But if you check the neighboring countries, I see that they have stable food price and a very low rate of undernourishment. This shows that the stable food price are critical for reducing hunger. So in my next chart, in the next
Sorry,
Like,
sorry to interrupt. Chinyere, I think Ayode is in backstage. He's messaging on the private chat. You can take a look.
sorry, I can't
Yeah,
hear you.
sorry, continue.
Sorry, can you
Okay,
go to the
that's
next
fine.
page?
I'll add him after this presenter.
I can't hear you. It's breaking. Sorry. Please, can you go to
Sorry,
the
go
next page?
ahead. Yeah.
I can't hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay,
Nasifat,
please,
please
can
go
you go
ahead.
to the next page? I'm done with this page. Okay. In the pie chart, we have Pakistan unemployment as the highest rate among the three countries. And in the last chart on that page is the analysis for the food insecurity. And we cannot see that Pakistan has the highest rate for food insecurity. So to address Pakistan challenges, for because now in my analysis we have three factors that are affecting them. So which is number one, unemployment. Jobs should be created by investing in industrial and the service sectors. Then they should promote entrepreneurship and also provide vocational training. So the next factor is the food price anomalies. So food price should be stabilized, and also there should be an effective price control mechanism. Then the last one for the food security, poor families should be supported so they can be able to afford meals. So in summary, in conclusion, Pakistan face significant challenges in food accessibility and nutritional health due to the economic factors and the volatile food price. So if they can implement these recommendations, they should be able to address the food problem and the economic problem. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Nafisat. Okay, so let's take
Thank
our
you.
judges. Let's take our judges.
I'm sorry I could not navigate this thing by myself. My system had issue, so I had to use my phone for the presentation. Hello, can you hear me?
No problem. So
Yes, we
let's
can
take
hear
our
you.
judges.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes.
Okay, so I,
Feedback.
I wanted I wanted Kavita to go first. So nice presentation. So when I'm saying nice presentation, I'm actually referring to your storytelling technique. I think I like the way you started the conversation, trying to link us to source of problem, to what it is, in relation to Pakistan, and the fact that you acknowledge that you needed to do extra data, get extra data set, because the truth is, sometimes there are certain insights that you cannot get, by just isolating. It's good that you did that comparison. I think that was nice. I wanted to quickly ask you, this presentation I'm looking at, is this a dashboard or report or a PDF? Let me start from there.
Yeah, it is PDF.
Okay, PDF. Okay, okay, nice. So I just want to, because I wanted to ask you how you were able to insert all this information, those write-ups, but this is nice. It's another smart way. So I just want generally just say well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great report again. Nafisa, it's really good. Two feedbacks I can see right away on the screen is first using consistent color. I see all the charts have very different combination of color which don't go together. Like somewhere we use orange, somewhere we are using a different shade of blue, so we can make it more consistent. That will improve the report. I really like how you're giving brief or specific recommendation for each visual. That really helps. The second feedback I would give, or a mistake I've seen in some past report as well, is the group chart that you're presenting, the group bar chart you have at top. There is no data label, there is no y-axis. That makes it very hard to read these kind of visuals. So whenever we plot a chart, make sure that there is some sort of way to read, like there should be either data label or y-axis, so user can read the information like the other two charts you have presented. So that's all.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Nasipat, and thanks for judging. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful one. Thank you, Nasipat. Yeah, so let's move to Favor. I believe Favor is here now. Nasipat, please, I will remove you now. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Favor, can you hear me? Hello, Favor, can you hear me? Now, if you are speaking, you are muted. I
Can you
can't
hear
hear
me?
you. Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Please
Just go
confirm
ahead.
you can hear me.
We can favor. Yep.
All right, thank you. So sorry about that. My network went off. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Confirm you can see my screen.
Not yet. We can't see your screen.
Hello, Mbakesile, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please go ahead
Hello.
and do your presentation. I can hear you. I can hear you. Please share your screen.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Please
Yeah,
confirm.
good
Can you hear
afternoon.
Yes,
me?
we can hear you. We can hear you, Kingsley.
Okay. The report I did was on the impact of food price on healthy diets. I focused my research on Nigeria and its neighboring countries, that is Benin, Niger, and Cameroon. So the cost of average living between these four countries was $3.65 as of 2022, and the increase in food price and inflation was high. It went up to 10% in 2022. Why the total prevalence of people who can afford the healthy diets was 69.43%. Then I now went to find out the factors influencing the high cost of that vary, and but their gross per capita increased quite a bit compared to other years that it went down. I did a correlation between the prevalence of undernourishment and cost of healthy diet. It showed a positive correlation, meaning that as the cost of a healthy diet was going up, the undernourishment in the country went up with it. That means it was a bad, it's bad for the economy. That 78% was of the population can't afford the healthy diet. Then I now went on to check on the minimum wage and the rate of poverty. The minimum wage in Nigeria
went up during 2019 to $97. But as inflation went up, the minimum wage went down, meaning that the average Nigerian person can't afford um, healthy diets in the country. Why I also went on to check on the consumer price inflation, which shows that as as from 2017 to 2022, it went up, going down a bit in 2019, maybe during the COVID break. Then the rate of poverty in the country went up. This is due to the pandemic in 2020, where it reached almost 28%. Then it went down a bit after the COVID pandemic, because of international bodies that helped out during the crisis, and some government policies that helped to reduce poverty and um, malnutrition in the country. Then went on to check on the prevalence of malnutrition in the country. It was 38% of of Nigeria population that can't afford a proper diet, and the health implication for this high cost of living, or this high cost of healthy diet, it causes malnutrition and it can lead to chronic disease. My recommendation to Nigeria and its neighboring countries is that they should increase the minimum wage in the country and subsidize key nutrients like other food. Like, I did analysis on the food too, showing that the price of food items went up from 2017 to 2022. Most of the necessary food items in the country rise was rising up, but the minimum wage went down a bit. So they should increase to subsidize key nutrients and encourage local production of food in the country. That was all.
Thank you very much, Kingsley, for this wonderful presentation. So let's hear what our judges have to say. I'll start with Ayuade. So Ayuade, what can you say about Kingsley's presentation? Okay. All right. So let's move on to Kavita. All right. So Kavita, what can you say about this presentation?
So I really like the way Kingsley has presented this report. It is very minimal, focused on the specific topic that we have. I don't have any major feedback on this, apart from some design enhancements that he could have done. Uh, Alignment issue, if things are not properly alignment, the spacing is not correct. So I think that was the only feedback I will give to him. Improve the overall design and the visualization part of it, but as from the storytelling and the insights he have shared, this he has done a good job.
All right, Kingsley, can you hear that? So you should clap for
Yes,
yourself, Elise. You really
thank
tried. All
you
right.
very much.
So gift, okay, so gift, what can you say about this presentation?
Yeah, I almost want to say Kavita seemed to have taken some of the words out of me, but thank God she didn't mention one. So, but basically has to do with design layout. And if you look at your tiles, like I don't know if you can show me the second one. So when you were talking about these styles, these indicators, the arrow up, arrow down. So one of the things I noticed in one of, fortunately, I didn't even take note of that, but among this cost of health, diet, inflation, I noticed at some point we had red, you know, okay, yeah, we can have it here. We were seeing it now. Red pointing up. Another point, you see red arrow pointing down. It's kind of confusing, in terms of what is the role of the
Okay.
arrows. and what's the role of the color, because the red ideally by standard is supposed to indicate decline, and if you are saying
Yes.
decline it should be pointing down. So I think there's no consistency with that. So together with the overall layout, but fantastic work. Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Kingsley. That's wonderful presentation, and I love the part that you focus on a particular country. We are going to move to another presenter now. Hi, Esther. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Esther Ogini, and I'll be presenting my screen now. Give me a moment, please. All right. I would like to know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, please?
No, we can't see your screen.
No. It's saying that I'm sharing my screen already. Okay, give me a second. Can you now see the screen?
No, I think you should reshare again. We can't see your screen.
Okay, I've done that, but it's showing from my side that I'm sharing my screen. I'm surprised it's not showing. I'll do that again one more time to see what happens. Present, share screen. I've done that again. I'm so sorry. I've tried to share the screen again, but it's not.
All right. So if it's not working, can you share with me your file so that I can help you share it from my end?
All right, I'll do that.
Okay, we can
I
see your
think it's
screen
good
now.
now.
We can see your screen now.
Great, thank you. So my analysis was to look at the effect of diet on affordability, and the data that we're provided with went over so many countries. So one of the things that I did was to classify the countries given into the different continents and categorize them based on FAO categorization of high income, low income, middle income to understand their income level. And when we try to do that, I also categorize them under regions to have a deeper global perspective of the different regions and their different income level. And one of the things that we would see is that to look at the top 10 undernourished regions, we will see that Africa and Asia, regions in Africa and Asia, were the top undernourished them. However, when we look at the rates of obesity, because obesity is also one of the factors of undernutrition, we see that Southern Europe, the highest part. However, we see that Northern Africa, Europe, and Asia also are among the list. I also try to look at the underweight population by region, and it follows the same direction with the top 10 undernourished regions, with Africa and Asia being the top regions that are facing underweight by population. Then I looked at the population that can afford healthy diet. And one of the things that we would see that cannot rather afford healthy diet, and we see that Africa takes the top most, followed by Asia, Oceania, and Europe being the least country with the population who cannot afford healthy diet. One of the things that I would like to point out is if I go to low income here, you will see that only Africa is in the region. So what I decided to do, I now dived deeper into two countries. So I decided to focus my analysis on two countries, and I chose Nepal and Malawi. And focusing on Nepal and Malawi, you would ask me why did I choose those countries? First of all, they both are landlocked developing country, which means that they do not have ocean borders. And we know that when a country does not have ocean borders, they are not able to do import and exportation between countries. Also, they are both categorized as least developing country and low income deficit countries. So both of them have the same constraint. And I chose these two countries also to see if there was a pattern across continents. I didn't want to focus on two countries within the same continent. I wanted to see if there was a pattern affecting different countries that have different population land size, to see if we could draw out a pattern. However, one thing that I noticed here is that the cost of healthy diet increased considerably higher compared to when we looked at the global population that had about $3.41 per person. However, looking at Nepal and Malawi, this increased considerably, to see that although they were low income countries, the cost it would take to afford an healthy diet is much more expensive. Then I tried to look at the underweight population to see if there was a similarity or if a pattern could be drawn. And we see that Nepal had higher underweight population compared to Malawi. However, with looking at the children with stunted growth, we see that Malawi and Nepal did not really have, although Malawi had 36% of children with stunted growth, Nepal had 30%. The difference is not so great as I would have expected. Looking at the prevalence of anemia also, Malawi had considerably high number of children with anemia, similarly with the undernourished population. But one thing that I would want to focus on is their food intake. And we would see that when I try to look at, okay, what kind of food do they consume and how do they consume this food? And one thing that is quite obvious here is that there is no particular trend into saying that Malawi has eats this much more healthy food than Nepal. I couldn't find that kind of trend. But one thing I noticed is that in the food consumption, Nepal had mixture of grains consumption compared to Malawi that just focused on maize consumption. And Nepal would eat maize, wheat, pulses, and all that, so they were able to combine their nutrients. So my major recommendation is the fact that many people would say that, teach these people, allow these people to have more diets and incorporate more things into their meal. But one of my major recommendations is to teach people how to combine their local diet for much more healthier meals. Because when people, if you say, they should be able to take milk, take eggs, and all the likes, what if that is not readily available in their region? How about looking at what is readily available in their region and teaching them how to incorporate this food into into their nutrition for healthier diets? Another thing that I noticed is the GDP between Malawi and Nepal. Malawi had a 12.1 billion GDP per year. However, Nepal had about 39 billion GDP per year, which is very, very different. And I would want to associate this if we look at the industry, services, and agriculture per country to see that Malawi did not have any industrial activities when we compare it with Nepal. So we can also encourage more industrial activities within these regions as an example of every other low income regions to improve productivity, which would in turn improve the income earning ability of the people to afford more food. Thank you, and that's all from my side.
Yeah, great report on this as well. Esther, I think you have done a great job. Some feedback I would give is first, I really like this composition that you have created for comparison of two countries and just, on two countries, one health is good and one is bad, and what could be different factors. So all the comparisons are really good. One feedback I have is on the first page. Can you switch to page number one? Yes, thank you. So the first three charts I see at top, which is top 10 undernourished region, region with highest obesity and underweight population. I notice all three of them has top 10 regions only. Like either there could be one case that we only have 10 region in this data set, or for all the three topics we are doing top 10 analysis. If that is the case, we should mention all three with the title that it is top 10 region, but for different components, like one is for undernourishment, one is for obesity rate. So that is my feedback for the top three chart, like they're a bit unclear on this area. And second thing is you can look into some more advanced charts for future recommendation. I mean, using a column or bar chart is good, but just to evolve your visualization technique, you can look for either tornado, split bar, or Merrimack chart. Those charts will improve or enhance your analysis capability, and you would be able to find much more deeper insights, just by using right visualization for these three charts. So that is my only feedback. Gift,
Yeah,
you can.
what's the Kavita? Yeah, I think you hit everything on the you hit it well, just your visualizations, all the insights you try to show are clear, and also for your time management. That's very amazing. Sometimes you have a lot of great insight, but your inability to maximize your time, it's one of those soft skills that every analyst, needs to learn. So it's one thing to have the technical skills to do great work, but lacking your communication skill to talk to management, could really affect a whole lot of things. Because at the end of the day, you're going to stand before management. They just want to hear you talk. So how you maximize your time could determine whether they will listen to you further or not, even your recommendation. But I think you did an amazing work in terms of your communication. The major thing I'm going to highlight here again, maybe because for someone like me, I like visual appealing things. Your visual can give me, reasons to either want to listen to you or not to even look at what you want to listen to what you want to say. So I just think you need to probably learn to manage your white space. I think that was just the major thing I saw, managing your, instead of having a lot of them. I know you want to show us quite a lot of insights. There are quite a lot of insight, but again, managing it so that it doesn't choke is also very important. Well done.
Well done, Esther. You really did a great job. And I'm sure that you have your pen, your book, you've jotted down everything that our guests have said. So well done. I like the fact that you even thought um, outside the box. I never even thought about obesity. And obesity is actually a health issue. So well done on analyzing that also. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you, the judges, also.
Good afternoon. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Bidemi.
Okay, please let me. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bide Misaka. I want to present my screen now. Okay, I've done that. Okay. Good afternoon once again. My name is Bide Misaka, and my project was on the Bank of America customer complaints. This was not what I first of all did, but I was able to rebrand this and work on it to get this. So, the objective of this was to help Bank of America reduce customer complaints. But before we go into that, we have to look at total complaint we got from the data we had, which was 63,000 complaints. Then we had pending complaints, which were pending, that complaints that have not answered, which was 1K. We had an average response time of 1.22 days. That is 1 day, 22 hours, almost 2 days, which is really bad for a bank. And we have resolved complaint of 63. So I had to create some data, some chart to actually show what issue. So it showed that managing an account had highest problems or highest complaints from individuals, and had a pending complaint to tell you that the company didn't really, they have an issue with managing an account, that is managing people's accounts, where, let me give examples of those in Nigeria, where you want to make transfers, it won't go and stuff like that. Okay, you can also see opening an account was also an issue. When someone tries to open an account, it was also an issue. Trouble doing payment process. So I had to add two tips so that people can actually see what they are clicking on or checking. Okay, and then this was delayed response. The other one here now is measuring responses, which is timely and delayed responses, checking or saving accounts. If people want to check or check their saving account, the response for that complaint was really bad. They were not actually answered on time. We had 867 of them not being answered on time. And people might be waiting. Maybe someone wants to make a transfer from their bank account, from their savings account, or to check their savings account, and it took amount of days before they will be actually be responded to. So I went into also identifying key issues where total complaint was made by category. C shows that managing of accounts still has an issue where they had 15,109 people complaining about the same thing. So I went to each product this bank was actually offering to their customers, and I can see that checking or saving of accounts, which I've already listed there, was still having a lot of complaints from their customers and all. So we had where most of these complaints were coming from, where we had 72.66 of the complaints came from the web. We also had that for referrals. We had post mail. We also had for phone. So I made my dashboard in a way I can actually go to check more insight on this. So I'm moving to my analysis page. Okay. So I had a matrix table here that showed every issue, because the issue were numerous. So I had to bring out a table that can show every issue and show the progress. Now, those responded to on time, you can show that managing an account still was a big issue for them, and it wasn't responded to on time as well. We had issues such as attempt to collect debt not owed, closing an account, closing on a mortgage. There were issues, and then these were 600, and then most of them were not actually responded to on time. So I created a web form to actually show which states and where the complaints were submitted from, mostly their total complaint, their pending complaint, and resolved complaint. I tried to make this dashboard a little bit interactive for even those that don't even know anything about dashboard. So mainly you click on any of the pie charts showing on the screen, you actually see where, like Hidalgo now, Organo, and Wycombe, Colorado, and the rest, you can actually see where they had issues, submitted their complaint, their total complaint, their pending complaint, and their resolved complaint. So I also made a trend analysis by year to say by 2017, they had total complaint of 5,300. To tell you that they have been going, they still had progress. I think 2019, they had little complaints as that. But if you look at 2022, they had the most complaint in 2022, which was 12,936. And then I think it fell down to 9,176, which is still not as good as the bank is supposed to get, because customers are, this is a bank, this is where money is being put in. People need their money at all points, and then you are still not allowing them to get to their money, especially that in the managing account. So we thought that I was able to summarize the issues on all of them. At C, managing account C being one of the highest count of complaint, I was 705% higher than problem with the credit reporting. And also I had which had the lowest count of complaint at 1,876. So because of my time, I will just go to the recommendation. So I recommended that we should focus on account management issue. We should also address low coverage issues with problem with credit reporting companies investigation, enhance the solution process for high complaint issues. Since management of account shows the largest gap between resolved and pending complaint, dedicated teams should be assigned to resolve these complaints faster, reducing pending volumes. Monitor pending complaints to prevent escalation. Now, this management of account, if it's being monitored, they will actually be able to prevent more escalation. And one of the insight I know that I wanted to add more was I noticed that there was no frequent, which is the my number 5 here. There was no FAQ, which is the fake answered questions or knowledge base to help customers independently. There are some times where customers might want to check for an issue online, and then maybe there's no fact to actually see that okay, some people has faced this issue. What did they do? So I told them, I actually recommended that it should be added, and also regional focus should be looked into as well. Why is it that this particular state or this particular country is having more issue with our bank than other states and as well? Then I said we should also focus on timely responses and address issues, address increasing complaints. So this, and I also have where you can actually see from my
All right,
dashboard where you.
so I think your time is
Okay,
already up. Thank you very
okay,
much for your
thank you.
presentation. Thank you very much. All right. So, how did BDME do? How do you find this presentation? Who's going
I
first?
can first. Yeah. So I think Videmi has done a good job overall. This report is insightful. It has a lot of good elements to look into. The only feedback I give for the end page is the summary section that we have. Summary, we can make it more concise. Or another good practice you can have is, let's say the first chart you have on this page is complaint status, what resolved and what still pending. So your title is good. Because I assume this is a Power BI report, you can place the subtitle or a subtext there right away and give the context. So when I'm viewing this chart, I directly get okay what you want to recommend. Instead, first look at all the chart and then go to the end page and reconnect. Okay, this insight is for this specific visual. That just for user they have to remember everything and they have to have use their visual memory. But if you right away give insights here, that just makes it more easier to interpret and acknowledge okay why we are using a pie chart, what is the use of this group chart or cluster chart, and what we are representing. So that itself will improve the context. Other than that, I think the way you're representing is good, and I'm happy with the information.
Thank you.
Okay, so well done. So we go again. So one key thing you that I've also heard we talk about on this call over and over has been the issue of design. So when we say design, we are not necessarily saying your work should be too beautiful, because even if you do something beautiful and lacks insight, the purpose is defeated. But however, there are certain standards. There's what we call accessibility, when it comes to data visualization. So accessibility is a concept that enables you to put everyone into consideration. So everyone means whoever is going to engage your report, your dashboard into consideration. Remember, there are people that have color blindness, naturally. You need to put them into consideration. Sometimes you don't just choose colors because you love that color. Sometimes you want to put into consideration the brand. When you actually open this, it took me time. If you notice my face on the screen, I had to like bring my face further. Everywhere was more like just blue. I couldn't see on time, and maybe because of the how tiny some of the charts were, so by standard practice, you need to put that into consideration, the size of your chart. For example, if you look at this your two charts where you did cluster, you use cluster chart, bar chart. The red one, which has to do with pending and resolved, it's not really very advisable to use this, considering the fact that your pending complaints are so little. The clarity won't be out. And again, for standard, when you are using your pie charts or your donut chart, once it is more than five, it is not advisable to use that. Okay. Um, you represented quite a number of things. Some of those things were not, it wasn't clear for us to pick. We can't really tell the measurements, although if I just look at it, and again, like color, I can't really tell whether you are referring to referral or web. So by standard practice, at most, if you can do four elements, you compare with a pie chart or donut chart. Once it's more done, then use other visualization. I think that's just the major thing I want to highlight. And well done.
Thank you very much.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right, so thank you very much, Gift, for your contribution. And Bidemi, well done. I can see that you actually worked on this. This was not the dashboard you submitted, but well done. And I hope
Yes,
you
ma.
have, you know, yeah, and I hope you've listened to what our guests have said. So go and see no more.
Yes,
Okay.
ma.
All right, Okumena, you are up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, can
Good
you hear
afternoon.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you. Please, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
No, we can't see your screen. Okay. Just, oh, yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Okupon today. So I'll be presenting the project topic, the impact of rising cost of living on economic health in Africa.
All right, so we can't seem to
So
hear
I
you
did
very
a
well.
presentation statement.
Hello, Yetunde. We can't
Oh,
seem to hear you
okay,
very well. Okay.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello,
Yes, we can.
can you hear me? Okay, okay, please, don't
Yes, we can
mind.
hear you. Can hear you. Please
All
go
right,
ahead.
thank you so much. So I did this presentation so that we can be able to understand very well. So the cost of living, what is cost of living? Cost of living refers to the amount of money needed to afford essential goods and services such as food, housing, healthcare, and transportation. So we're given the hints of the project. The project aims to explore how increasing living expenses impact economic stability and growth with a focus on key areas. And we were given the objectives as well, which is to analyze the relationship between rising cost of living and inflation, to assess the impact of inflation on purchasing power and economic stability, and also to investigate the impact on business operations. So the methodology I used, aside from the data set they gave us, which is the data set on GDP and cost for inflation, income rate, and also the poverty rate. And
Sorry,
also,
Yetunde.
the
I don't know
data
if I'm the
processing
only
was
one.
done.
Yetunde,
Hello,
can you hear
ma'am.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear
All
you,
right. So
ma'am.
you are speaking, but we cannot like really get what you are saying.
Oh
Sometimes
my
is
God, it is my screen. Oh my God, let me try and put my. Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me now?
we can hear you. Maybe you were using an external device or
No, I
something.
was no. I think it's the last.
All
Your
right.
voice
So
is
But
keep
can
even
you hear
on.
me
better.
now? I'll try and increase my voice. So the data sources, I got extra data sources from WhatsApp, and also the data setting was done using Power BI, and data visualization was also done using Power BI. Can you hear me, please? Hello.
We can hear you. Go on. Just go on.
Okay,
Proceed.
okay. All right. So why should we actually care about this impact of cost of living? Yes, we should care about it because it affects every one of us. So this cost of living is just about higher prices. It's about people's quality of life. When families can't afford basic needs, children grow up malnourished, education becomes a luxury, and also healthcare is out of reach. So what can be done? Why these challenges seem overwhelming, they are not unsolvable. So we ourselves, the government and organizations can take steps to improve the situation. For example, the subsidies on essential goods like food and energy can provide immediate relief to the most vulnerable. So I'll put let's go to the statistics. Please, can you hear me, please?
Don't worry.
Yes,
Go on.
please
You
go
can.
ahead.
Just
We
go on.
can. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go to the statistics now, which I did on my Power BI. Please, can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is that inflation by, by poverty rate. So I did this. So through this map, we can estimate through Niger.
Hello, Yetunde. Are you still there? So I think we can take the other present. Oshiba, Yetunde, can you hear me? Hi, Darape, are you there?
Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we
We can
can.
hear you, Favor.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, please? Okay. Please confirm you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Can you see my screen?
We
Uh,
cannot see your screen. We cannot. We cannot.
Okay.
you probably need to reshare.
So my presentation, as I said earlier, will be on the customer complaints. Then my report is divided into 3 pages: overview, product,
I think they're having technical issues.
Hi, Yetunde, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Please go ahead and share your screen.
Okay, thank you. Mm. So I think I stopped here. Please, can you hear me? Confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can hear you. Yetunde, we can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. Thank you. So, like I was saying, Switzerland has high cost of living, and also these countries are most expensive to live in because their everyday expenses keep getting um particularly steep. So I'll move to Nigeria. Let's compare Nigeria cost of living. Nigeria cost of living too is very, very low. It is low. Cost of living in plus rent is low. Groceries index is low. Local purchasing power is low, and the rent is low. So this doesn't mean that we, even though the cost of living is lower, inflation and limited purchasing power amplify economic hardship. So that doesn't mean that we are having it easy here. Countries must focus on essential costs like housing, groceries to improve affordability. So in Nigeria, we have the government needs to work more on for making life easy for us. So let's move to okay, the job market dynamics. So we have the wages and salaries. So we can see that there is a steady decline in the wage and salary. That is the decline in formal employment coincide with economic downturns. So let's try to check other effect on cost of living. So the foreign direct investment also contribute to high cost of living. We can see there is a steady increase in the foreign direct investment with high investment during certain periods, followed by steep declines. This inconsistency raises concern about the long-term stability of economic growth. So I'll try and move to health expenditures so that I can move to the next place. So the health expenditure kept on increasing, but this does not mean that people can afford the health care services. It doesn't mean that people couldn't afford the healthcare because the amount they are selling, even just paracetamol in Nigeria, is very, very expensive. And some people that are earning in low income couldn't afford it. So I'll try and move to the next place because of our time. So income, please, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
Yetunde, carry
can.
on. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I'll move to the income rate versus the poverty rate. So the income rate versus the poverty rate, we can see that 189,000 working individuals struggle with poverty. The lower income households, 164 workers face similar challenges. The upper middle also face the face similar challenges. So the majority of low income and lower middle income individuals cannot escape poverty despite working hard. This shows that wages are too low to meet the rising cost of living. Low wages make it nearly impossible for families to afford food, healthcare, and education, keeping us in a circle of poverty. So I'll move to inflation by year. So in this inflation by year, we saw that there were steady increase in 2000, in 2007, 2008, and 2022. This high inflation means prices of goods and services rise faster than people's income. Let's take, for instance, the pure water of 5 naira that we were buying in Nigeria, as at last year or last 2 years. Now it is 15 naira as at today. So the increase in this is part of what is affecting the cost of living. When inflation grows unchecked, it reduces the value of people's money, making even basic needs unaffordable. So if we take this income rates also by region as an example, only 85 people per group face poverty, and the low income 26 just face people are struggling with poverty. So whether regions have fewer people living in poverty. So I will have to move to this next slide. So the next slide, this is the GDP. So this GDP we can see that it kept on increasing. Let's not be deceived by this increase in GDP, because this GDP, it is not evenly distributed, because why GDP often grows, so its benefits are not equally distributed. Like I said, that's significant growth. The benefits are not evenly distributed. Wealth remains concentrated, and also for many, this growth hasn't improved their quality of life. In Nigeria, we do have this saying that we have three categories: the rich, the average, and the poor. Now we don't have the average again, because the average are already poor. So we have just two categories: the rich class and the poor. When you are poor, you are poor. We are working, but these things are not really showing. So I did a comparison between inflation rate in Asia and inflation rate in other countries. In Asia, the inflation rate is high, but when we compared Ghana
Okay.
and Nigeria, the
Yetunde.
inflation rate in
Hello,
Ghana,
Yetunde.
ma,
I'm so sorry
ma,
to cut you short, but we have other presenters. So well done so far in your
okay,
presentation.
let me
I
just
see
move
that
to, yes,
you actually have a lot to share, right? So can you just walk
okay,
us through
yes.
your recommendation? Yes, thank
So
you.
the recommendation, so to encourage local food production and invest sustainable agricultural practices to reduce dependency on imports and stabilize food practices. Also to provide targeted subsidies for gas, electricity, and water, and also to implement policies that ensure wage growth aligns with inflation rates, to protect workers' purchasing power. Also to promote trade within Africans. So let me just stop here. So the conclusion: the rising cost of living in Africa is a complex problem linked to inflation, income gaps, and global economic trends. So, by following this recommendation above, African countries can create a fairer environment where economic growth improves, like for life for everyone. So, this study actually is beyond just numbers. We shouldn't follow just numbers, but because we are dealing with real people here, behind every statistics is a family trying to survive, a child aiming for better opportunities, and a community seeking for hope. So let's just work together to build a better future for all. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Yetunde, for this nice presentation. So let's have it gift. What do you have to say about our presentation?
Okay. Uh, it's quite tough, but it is what it is, they say. So I like your energy here today. Generally, you had a lot of things you want to talk about, but not this. Most of the things we are seeing here as guests are things that we believe could help your journey. Irrespective of how our feedback is, it's all about you being better. So on that light, I just want to make some little comments about your presentation. And I said earlier before now, it's one thing to be able to do the technical thing, get all your technical know-how, but in terms of communication, not being able to pass your insights very well. I think there's something you did which I believe maybe you can improve on is in terms of your presentation. There's no assumption when it comes to data. I think you made a lot of assumption by sometimes even mention Nigeria. You think this should be this, like in Nigeria, maybe pure water is this. You think that, even though the health stuff is showing us this way is increasing, it's not as if it is like that. Now, aside from God, we don't believe anything. We believe data. So if your data is saying something is going up, you cannot come and tell us that ignore what this is showing. This is what it is. So it goes to show us probably you made a mistake in your analysis. Okay, so I just want you to be conscious of that. Your data is what speaks, irrespective of what you think. Your data is very important. So that's the major thing I want to highlight. Assumptions should be minimized. Focus on the data, the insights from the data. That's what you're telling us. I know there was no point where you were talking about Nigeria directly, but you made mention of that. generally some of your presentation are good aside from maybe layout issues. But my emphasis for you basically is in terms of your communication, the use of certain words. Ensure you do not make your stakeholder think you are assuming. Of course, in real life, sorry, I'm taking a little bit of time, but in real life scenario, if you're working in my place, note that a lot of times you may have challenge as a data analyst, with your stakeholder because you understand the data, you are trying to give direction to the company. So you will also need to be careful with making assumptions when you talk. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, please, Yetunde, before you leave, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, before you leave, you made a statement that I just need a clarification on, right? You said that FDI, which is foreign direct investment, can affect or contribute to the high standard of living, right? It can contribute to the high standard of living of people in a country. Can you please explain that statement? How with FDI, that's foreign direct investment, affects the contribute to the high standard of living of people. Can you please explain it to a layman?
The high cost of living.
Yeah, you said the FDI, that's foreign direct investment, right?
No, I meant the economic health. I guess I meant the economic health. Maybe.
I didn't get
Yeah.
that.
The inconsistency, because of the inconsistency of job creation and infrastructure, I guess.
Okay, that's
Hello,
fine.
ma'am.
Thank you very much. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so we have the last person here, which is Chinedu. Chinedu, are you ready? That's wonderful presentation yet on the word done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
Please share your screen.
All right. Can we see my screen? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Yes,
you.
yes, we can see your screen.
All right. So good day, everybody. My name is Chinedu Zori, and thank you for this opportunity to share my work. So my presentation will be on the rising cost of living on
I'm
economic
sorry,
health.
Chinedu.
So
Sorry, please, can you all
yes,
see his screen? Because I think I cannot see anything, it's just black.
Yeah, it's blank here as well. I can't see anything.
Can you reshare your screen again, please, Chinedu?
let me reshare. No problem. How about now? Can we see my screen now?
Just hold on, it's loading. So even now we can't see your screen. So
Let me try
maybe
one
you
more
can
time.
share your entire screen. I don't know, maybe you are trying to share a section of your screen.
I'm trying. I'm trying my entire screen. My entire screen actually.
So we can't see it.
How about now?
Okay, so just hold on. Yes, we can.
And how about now?
We can see your screen.
All right. Thank you. Apologies for the glitch. Yeah. So good evening or good day, everybody. Once again, my name is Chinedu Zari, and I'll be presenting on the impact of the rising cost of living on the economic health. My emphasis will be on Africa, but I did a comparative analysis using Europe so that to streamline my analysis. So cost of living refers to the amount of money needed by the individuals in a place to purchase the necessary items for daily living. So from the data set that we got, I noticed that it was quite limited. So we were provided two data sets, one for the cost of living index and another for GDP. So the cost of living index was only for a particular year, I think 2017. So to make a much broader analysis, I had to go and get data from 2010 to 2023 for my cost of living. I also had to get data for unemployment rate, get data for inflation rates as well. So here are some of my key metrics that I was able to glean from my analysis. So I found out that the average cost of living in Europe was higher than in Africa. The average cost of living in Europe was higher than in Africa. However, the GDP per capita, that is the GDP divided by the total population of an area, GDP per capita in Europe was more than that of Africa. So what this signified was that despite the fact that Europe had a higher average cost of living index, they still had a better standard of living compared to Africa. Another index I found was the fact that the inflation rate, average inflation rate for the period of time which I analyzed, 2010 to 2023, was a bit higher in almost two times of that in Europe. So we have about almost 12% average inflation rate for Africa compared to Europe's approximately 8%. And one thing about inflation rate is that inflation rate affects cost of living. So yes, this next slide points to that fact. So from this first trend, the average inflation rate in Africa over the years has been a bit higher than the one in Europe, even given despite the fact that the average cost of living in Europe was higher than in Africa. So this next chart compares the cost of living and purchasing power in Europe and in Africa. So while Europe had a higher cost of living, their purchasing power, which is a measure of the minimum wage and the GDP, was still higher than in Africa. This other one speaks to the impact of minimum wage and GDP per capita. For this business cost impact, so these matrices are solely for Africa. So I discovered that the business cost of inflation in Africa was growing at a very, very high rate. So this meant that foreign direct investment, they might be discouraged from investing in Africa due to the increasing inflation rate. This one had to speak to the low average purchasing power of Africans, and this also, the average minimum wage in Africa was very low. The average unemployment rate was uh, somehow good because it was less than 50%, but that still had an impact because even though unemployment rate was not getting higher, inflation rate was going higher through the years. So here is a summary of my findings. Here's a summary of my findings. So, like I mentioned, while Europe had a higher cost of living in Africa than Africa, the the standard of living in Europe is better than in Africa due to the fact that their own average inflation rate was growing lower compared to Africa. Also due to the fact that the GDP per capita was higher, the minimum wage was higher, the purchasing power was higher. So these are some of the things that impact on cost of living as well as the economic health of a people. So if Africa will want to solve this issue of the increasing cost of living in using what we have just seen between comparing Africa and Europe, these are some of the recommendations. One is that we need to stabilize our inflation rate because there's no way the cost of living will begin to go down except we target the inflation rate. So one of those ways is that we bring out several policies that can help to stabilize this inflation rate. We also support the production of essential goods in the domestic way. We try to educate the populace and give them financial literacy programs so that they can be able to manage themselves when inflation grows up. Another recommendation is that the African countries, they need to invest more in SMEs, that's small and medium scale businesses, in order to attack this inflation. Because like I mentioned, the business cost impact of inflation rate, it's kinds of it deflects foreign direct investment. They are discouraged from investing. But when targeted efforts are made to SMEs and other local businesses, they will try to, yes, affect this inflation rate. One very important one is that the minimum wage in Africa needs to be looked at. It needs to be looked at. One example is in Nigeria. Over the past year or 2 years, we know how the inflation rate in Nigeria has gone up, and there is no correspondence in the minimum wage. So if we would want to improve our standard of living, if we want to improve our cost of living, we need to also increase our minimum wage. Yeah. So on a broader level for Africa as a continent, we need to encourage inter-country intercountry trades. One good thing about Europe is that the European Union facilitates an intercountry relationship, which is
Chinedu, can you
missing
hear
in
me?
Africa.
Can you hear me, Chinedu?
I can hear you. I can
So
hear you,
you've
yes.
elapsed your 5 minutes already.
Oh,
So
okay,
in one
okay. All
minute,
right,
can you
all right.
just wrap
Okay,
this
thank
up in
you.
1 minute? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So just to wrap it up, Africa needs to look at several things in order to address the issue of increasing cost of living. One, we need to look at the inflation rates. We need to bring policies that will bring down inflation rates. Two, we need to increase our local production, also across African countries. Thank you.
Well done, well done, well done, well done. I can't see your name very well. I think Chinedu presenter, right? Let me see.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, okay. Yes, oh, sure. Yeah, so good presentation, good infographics. I think I got very well caught by your initial infographic. Um, just quite a few number of people, most times make use of infographic, and I think you did excellently well with how you started it up. So, general overview, overall, I think the presentation was good, but for the purpose of learning, I would just want to highlight some things you said. Data is very interesting in the sense that um, your ability to use this it's what give you insights. Now, and you when we were talking about unemployment, you said okay, the unemployment rate is not too bad because not to 50%. I understand you're probably coming from an angle of not probably using that kind of data very well. But the truth is, once employment rate is more than 5 or 6, it is bad. When you say 50% unemployment rate, what you are simply saying is that 50% of people are unemployed. So if you have a population of 1 million, you're saying 500,000. And when you have like population, I think, can you just go back to that slide? Particular slide, I think you talked about 40 something percent, yeah, 42. So when you say 42%, so let's say you have 100 persons, 42% are unemployed. These unemployed people can actually become criminals, so it's not good. Okay, so it's not when it gets to 50. So interpretation of the data is very important. Okay, so um, globally, the acceptable like minimum maybe about 3 to 5 or 6 percent. Okay, then again when you were giving your recommendation, I think you did well, but I just want to highlight some talking points for one to be able to also reflect. Also speaking to myself, sometimes a lot of people just think increasing minimum wage is the solution. Sometimes it's not the solution. Even when you take a look at, so let's even forget data, although everything is data, if you look at Nigeria's situation, the moment you increase minimum wage, there are also potential risk. So when you are suggesting minimum wage, you need to be careful in terms of recommendation. You need to make sure you also identify other recommendations that will tackle the potential risk. So we have potential risk like inflation. Everybody in the streets selling things, we want to increase their price. That is what we have today. That what you can buy 1,000 naira today is not what you were buying in 3, 4 years down the line. Before now, when we talk about Nigerian budget, I'm saying some few years down, what we only hear was million. You rarely could hear billion. But now we are talking about trillion, and the economy is so bad. So when we are giving those kind of recommendation, it's good because overall, when there's minimum increase in salary, you expect higher purchasing power. You expect that there'll be kind of reduction in poverty. You expect that there'll be improved productivity. People will put their energy more at work, via staff, and bring more results. Those are the ideal expectation. But again, you cannot neglect the negative side. Okay, potential job
Yes,
losses.
sir.
You understand? So very good recommendation, but
Yes,
I just
yes, sir.
want sometimes to give those recommendations. Let's think 360, especially in business. So why I'm saying this, I think because you are probably the last person on the call, I'll just take my chances, Chinyere. So in an organization, I tell people as a data analyst, one of the challenges I face every day is that my integrity is at risk. People are going to take decisions based on your recommendation. If it goes south, you might be blamed. Do you understand? So you need to be careful. People can follow that your recommendation, and eventually others will lose their job because companies will not be able to pay that minimum wage. Do you understand? People will lose jobs so that they can pay. A lot of factors. So I just want us sometimes when we give recommendation, let's be encompassing. Not just look at one side. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that wonderful feedback gift. He said something, your integrity is at risk, okay? And these are the things that you have to consider as a data analyst. You always tell my students something. You're there to solve their problem. You're not there to add to their problem, right? So it simply means that whatever decision or whatever you're giving them is what they are going to base their decisions on. Now, it might be that they might base their decision on whatever you give them, and it's instead of them to solve the problem, it will not give them the problem. Thank you very much for that wonderful feedback. I learned a lot from here now. Ayode, I don't know, do you want to say anything concerning his presentation? Do you have anything to say here? Hi, Ayode, are you still with us?
Yes, yes, I am. Also, can you guys hear me now?
Very
Yes,
clear.
yes.
Okay, great. I don't know. That network has been like a bit wobbly. And amazing presentation to the last person, right? I just want to point out one or two things. Can you go back to that where you have the geometrics and all displaying? Yes, yeah, right. You were doing comparison, and then all of a sudden, all your main key points were focusing on just con a single element, right? In your trends, inflation and all of that, you had African against Europe, African against Europe, African against Europe. So why did you start removing them from your business cost impact and all of that, right? You lost us there, right? We could relate. We could start saying, oh, okay, yeah, these people are making so much, right? So Africa is actually making lesser. Then the inflation rate is like rising. Is the inflation rate coming from the business cost, or is it by the average power cost or whatnot, and all of that, right? And then the African country that you are looking at Africa entirely, which is too wide, right? You can try to key it down to a specific country, or maybe use Nigeria as a case study, right? And you can also key into an European country where Nigerians mostly japa into now is UK, right? So do a comparison between Nigeria and UK, right? That would give your insight more attention, right? You'll be able to drive more adoption. Basically, if you are doing this for an organization, you'll be able to drive more adoption than doing over wide, right? Now we don't know whether it's a particular country in the UK that is actually driving this whole thing that you're looking at. It could be Germany that is driving it, it could be UK, it could be Netherlands, it could be anything, right? While for the Africa, it could also be maybe is Nigerian inflation that is, making everything go high, right? So amazing one by the way. And I love how you sort of layered your elements, right? You know exactly what you are doing. What you need to work on is try to decluster your charts so that it's not too many colors are not flying around, right? For example, now in your relationship between cost of living, inflation rate, you have two axes, right? You have one on the left side, you have one on the right side. Which one is which one? You are confusing me. You want me to start doing x and y axis at the same time, right? So if this is tableau, tableau can allow you to make the two axes together. It's called dual axis chart. So tableau will use one axis to plot the two charts for you, both the bar chart and the line chart, because as it is, the metrics that we are looking at is actually not interpretable. On the left hand side now, the maximum value is, on the right hand side rather, the maximum value is 20%. While on your left hand side, the maximum value should be around maybe up to 55 or thereabouts. And now I can say, oh, what this line chart is saying is that I have more inflation or what's not, right? So it's not giving us that thing that we should see, that element of yes, I have this data and I'm telling the good story with it. Yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayade, for your observations so far. So, Chinedu, you've heard it from our guests, right? You know what you now need to work on. Okay. So, it would have been better if you had focused on a particular country or even compare countries, right? Than focusing on the whole continent. All right. And then again, let me just talk on the relationship between the cost of living index and I assume you mean inflation rate here, right? So, like Ayade said, I can't even seem to. Okay, so because I already have an understanding, right? I can understand this a bit. But for people who do not have that knowledge, it will be hard for them to identify which one is which, right? They won't know where the line is coming from, where the bar is coming from or going to. So there was no legend to capture that. So just like you said, just work on this thing. All right. So thank you all very much for your presentation so far. And like Gift said he
Thank
found
you.
it he found it amazing, right? That okay, he's even finding it difficult to believe that most of you guys are beginners. So that's true. Most of these people are beginners. I mean, when they started, we saw their submissions, their works when they started, and when we compare it from the beginning to now, it's different. We've seen growth. We've seen improvement, and yeah, we're really proud of it. All right. So, are there any other presentations?
Yeah, we're supposed to have one person. Tema sent her video, but there won't be enough time to play the video. She's in transit now. All right. So, but I believe that she performed well, and I'm so glad. I don't know every other person that presented this amazing, like amazing presentation. Yeah, that's very great one. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Gift. Thank you, Ayade. Everyone that joined us in this amazing section, and for all our presenters, you guys performed well. I don't really. I was actually waiting to tackle someone. Can you hear me?
So, hello. So, we can hear
Hi, we
you.
can.
Well, can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
I can.
Okay, okay. I think the next thing is right is to announce. Sandra, please, can you take that one? Can you take that part? Appreciate our interns and
Okay.
then announce the award winners for the year 2024 internship.
So sorry. All right. So we just want to appreciate all of our interns. We're so proud of you all. So we know that many of you were not able to present your work. It doesn't mean that you did poorly, your submission was poor or whatever. But like we said, we only picked the best submissions, which still doesn't mean that your presentation was poor. Okay. And so we have outstanding, or let me say the most outstanding
Sorry,
interns based on,
sorry,
can you hear me?
sorry. I want to
Okay.
say something. Please pardon me. I want to say something. All right. So everyone that all our interns, please pay attention to this. Right. I want to say that the people that presented, they are not literally the best. I mean, the best of the best, right? We have a lot of people that perform absolutely well, especially in the case study three. But not, we cannot push everybody to come here and present. You understand? So we decided to pick some people, case study one, two, and three. We cannot pick everybody. That's why we picked all these ones, right? We decided to pick the best ones among them. But note, especially everybody that did the case study three, they all performed well. So people performed well in case study three more than they did in case study two, more than they did in case study one. So we picked them to present the case study three. Everybody performed well, and you are all getting certificates for that. Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for doing this. Please go ahead, Sandra. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Nyeri. Okay, so like you said, everybody performed really well. From the first tax down to this moment, everyone did really well. And also for the presentation, you all did really well. Although I could see some commas here and there, but I think it's still something that we can work on. That was the main reason we decided to have this live session where you guys come and present your work, because we know that communication is an essential skill when it comes to data. It's not just to analyze or be behind the screen doing your data analysis. There will come a time where you need to communicate these findings to your audience. All right, so we have awards for the best data storyteller, the chief data detective, and the best data innovator. Okay, so three awards: the best data storyteller, the chief data detective, and the best data innovator. So the award for the best data storyteller goes to Nafisat Adeola, and this is for crafting compelling narratives from the data. I think I remember Kavita mentioned something about Nafisat work that she loved. I don't know if it was Nafisat or if it was Gifts. I can't really remember who did it or who said it, right? But they said that they loved the way she brought out our storytelling game. She was able to carry our audience along. So well done, Nafisat. And then we have the chief data detective for uncovering the story behind the numbers. And this award goes to Okubena Yetunde. So well done. So I'll leave the best data innovator for Chinwe.
you very much, Sandra. And I don't know, I'm so glad. I don't know, everybody that got this award, just take note of something, right? For everybody that got to stage three, you are all getting certificates. I said it again, you will get certificates for, for doing this, right? But we decided to award three persons that have done absolutely well. I'm not saying that everybody has not done absolutely well, right? These guys have done, beyond what what is expected of them, right? So we have Nasipat for the best storytelling teller. So we have Yetunde, and we have another person again. We are gonna announce it. Let's say that that is gonna come as a surprise to that person. Is that okay? So it is come as a surprise to that person, and we are gonna announce it. But before the end of today, the person, because we want to pick the person from this presentation, right? So the person, let's not announce the person now, but we announce the person to your group, and the person will get that as a surprise. Thank you very much, and we are glad that you're doing this with us. Okay,
All right,
okay,
thank you
okay.
all,
So
everybody.
there is a decision anyways. Okay, let's just announce it. Let's just announce it. Okay. So the best data innovation is, I don't know, can someone guess? Okay, let me just announce it. Esther Ogini. I don't know if I pronounce that thing very well. I don't know if I pronounce that very well.
I think
Esther
it's all.
Ogini. Ogini and whatever. Esther Ogini. All right, so that the third award is going to her. Thank you very much, Sandra.
All right. So the reason why we picked Esther Ogini was the way she presented. Even though like she kept to time, she went straight to the point. She brought out insights that we never even thought about. She was one that brought out the insights about obesity, which is actually a health issue. She compared and she also talked about, instead of increasing minimum wage, she talked about how these countries, I think it was Nepal and Malawi, can improvise or work on what they already have as a country, right? So well done, Esther Ogini, for thinking outside the box, for bringing to life your data. Even with the little data provided, you were still able to show something. You went ahead, you got your own data, and you did an excellent work. We are proud of you. We're proud of everybody. All right, so thank you, everybody. And this brings us to the end of this live feedback session. Okay, so is there anything else we need to pass out, Chinri?
Yeah, the next thing is that they should anticipate for our 2025 internship program. So that one is going to be massive again. So that's fun. And thank you very much. Everyone that has done this, we really appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you guys. All of that informations and announcements, you will get that on your WhatsApp group when you have your Upwork optimization. To only those that get to stage 3, you will get that before the end of tomorrow. Thank you very much, and nice being this with you guys. I don't know, but I'm so glad that you guys are amazing, to be very honest. To be very honest. Well done, everybody.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Cheers.